Hello everybody, I am back. This is a video that I've waited to make for a really long time. My results for the last video are finally in and I've been trying so hard not to peek at them. But let's shed some light on allergy reactions a little bit further. As I had mentioned in the past, allergic reactions, which is something that we do test in family medicine through blood work, are subjective. A lot of the times you may come back allergic for something that you think you've ate or that you know you've ate in the past, but the reactions are not very prominent. Maybe you eat it once a week and therefore you think it goes through your head like not knowing or not too sure that you're allergic to something that you eat very occasionally. And when the report comes back and you're allergic in small amounts, medium amounts, high amounts, extreme amounts, or anaphylactic amounts, then it kind of gives somebody a shock. I'm not too sure what I'm going to see in today's report, but it might be telling me some things that I'm allergic to, and I wanted to shed some light on those type of allergy reactions. For example, the reason why it's very subjective, like I said, you may be not having any reactions that are visible to you. Some reactions may be internal, some reactions may just be inflammatory, which is still internal, and therefore not all is felt or even seen. Of course, these allergy reactions are not an issue at all unless you are having some symptoms of some sort. A lot of the time, patients that do complain of symptoms are really the ones that we try to narrow down and figure out what is happening with them. And me being the patient in this case, kind of debulking what's causing my gut issues, my bloating, my constipation, my stomach cramping, etc., then there are issues that I do want to address for myself, and therefore it's important for me to have done the Viome kit testing, and I will correlate with what my food allergy panel will come back to say. So hopefully there's a little bit of correlation there clinically. And without further ado, let's just get started. So as you open back up the app, it'll initially tell you this page right here. It's telling me what my superfood is, which is sauerkraut. All right, let's look at my health profile. There's 11 good scores that need to be maintained, 9 average scores that need improvement, and 2 not optimal scores that need critical need of improvement. This is my first reaction to it. I'm looking at this along with you guys. So on this gut health score, I'm a 57. I'm assuming it's out of 100 because it's almost a little bit more than halfway there, so it's average, definitely not good. All right, let's just do the breakdown of the scores. My functional scores are average or good. Gas production is not optimal, meaning that there is more amount of microbial production and intestinal gases is higher than normal, which might contribute to excessive gas, bloating, and constipation. Gut active microbial diversity is average. Everything else is pretty much good or average. Ammonia production pathways is also not optimal, which is another gas that bacteria in my gut is producing. This is ammonia. It can contribute to gut inflammation as well as brain fog. There you have it. That's why I'm always tired. And if you see here, all of the gas productions is about average. They're not good. Basically, out of all my scores, 11 are good, 9 are average, and 2 are not optimal. My score wasn't all that bad, considering that there's only 2 that need critical need of improvement and 9 that need improvement. Yay, the food list. Here we go. So we'll start going through the food breakdowns of foods I need to avoid. They'll give me the whole breakdown as to why these foods are the ones I need to avoid. And I won't go through the details of them in this video because they're very extensive. But for the most part, I need to avoid bell pepper, red, yellow, and green, and tomatoes. Which, to be honest, I don't really eat many tomatoes. But there's been times where I ate bell pepper as my sole meal. To be honest, I can't remember what happened when I ate those bell peppers. I thought it was a healthy food option. I'll probably be more conscious when I try to eat them again. It says to avoid in the next 30 days. And I think this is because I want to replenish my biome and give myself a microbiome reset Therefore, I'll of course want to avoid things that are going to be affecting it. But when or if I do eat that, I'll be a little bit more conscious on how I'm feeling. Superfoods to incorporate: kale, which I've been eating a lot of actually. Fiber, complex carb. After analyzing your microbiome and taking your wellness goals into account, it has been determined that kale in your diet will be beneficial for you. It's converted by your microbiome to produce butyrate. Studies indicate that fiber increases microbial diversity, prevents constipation, helps manage weight, regulates blood sugar, and aids in gastrointestinal distress. I agree. I've actually been having a kale with banana, protein powder, and almond milk shake. I had it 3 days out of the last week, and I will say that kept me pretty regular. But I've also added probiotics as of the last 2 weeks, maybe 3. Drank more water. That's a hit or miss. I'll usually have between 30 to 60 ounces of water in a day. And definitely been incorporating more fruits every day and veggies every day. If it's not with every meal, at least it is every day. And therefore, I think that's been helping me be a little bit more regular, less bloated. Actually, I felt like my stomach's been a little bit more flatter. But this is with me doing things outside of the recommended foods here in my results. They're also recommending cranberry, lemon, oats, which to be honest, I'm not a fan of oats, especially as my first meal. I could have oats in my lunch meal. That way it's not the first food that my system needs to break down. Carbs could be very heavy for your metabolism. And I know kale is a carbohydrate, but they mention it's high in fiber and a complex carb. I haven't had any issues with having kale as my first meal, but in the past I've had issues with having oats as my first meal. I felt like that would bloat me very easily. So I will keep you guys updated on whether or not oats made me feel better or worse, although they recommend it. Proteins and fat, bone broth, coconut oil, kefir, cow milk, pecans, soybeans, trout. Spices would be, I think that's mint, basil, cinnamon, garlic, ginger, which I bought and didn't use, and horseradish, and a more extensive list of foods to enjoy. Okay, I can have apricot, artichoke, arugula, asparagus, avocado. Barley is another gluten food that I may or may not take their recommendation. Beef is good for me. Beet greens, beets. Avoid bell pepper. Minimize breadfruit, but that's the name of the fruit. Breadfruit, never had it. That's fine. Minimize cassava, never had it. Cinnamon is a superfood. By the way, cinnamon is also a metabolic inducer, so it'll help you break down more fat and burn fat. It also helps you stabilize your sugars. So if you eat something sweet, it'll keep you from having those spikes and drops. Foods everyone should avoid, of course. I tell this to everybody all the time. Sweeteners, foods with added sugar, oils that are not healthy, like vegetable oil. Just because it has the word vegetable on it doesn't mean it's actually good for you. Canola oil, shortening, which I assume shortening is like manteca. How do you say manteca in English? Lard. That's the word I was looking for. Lard. They don't say lard, surprisingly. Refined grains, white flour. Avoid cured meats, bacon, and hot dogs. If anything is going to last more than months, like more than 6 months in your fridge, that has so many preservatives. The hot dogs say it comes a mixture of beef and pork, but I will forget when someone offers me a hot dog a week from today. And like I said, allergies are really, truly an issue if you have any symptoms. If you're experiencing bloating, it doesn't always manifest with something externally like your lips swollen or your tongue swollen, your shortness of breath, the itching, the redness, the dots on the skin. It doesn't always manifest as an external symptom. And that's why a lot of the times it's very difficult to find what you're allergic to. And the Allergist Society will say this, and your family medicine practitioner may say this, and they may try to do a food allergy testing. And you may want to go through this route and do a stool test, a saliva test, a blood test through Viome. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be correlated on how you feel after eating those foods, if eliminating certain foods in the diet made a drastic change in how you feel and therefore you want to proceed with eliminating those foods from your diet. Drastic changes in your diet is something that you would approve. It is not something that will tell you clear cut you need to avoid your favorite meal, which are avocados, because you're allergic to them, but then you eat them every day and have zero symptoms and zero bloating and zero constipation, then of course you're not going to delete it just because a paper told you to. So therefore, with that being said, if you wish to proceed forward with help on your gut, help with your health, help with foods you should avoid, look out for, minimize, or indulge on, which are your superfoods. So with all that being said, feel free to check out my last video where I talk about Viome, the box, the kit, what it's all about. Feel free to follow me on all my socials, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at YourLocalPA. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.